You're watching the VSO Gun Channel. Thank you for tuning in. It's excellent to have you here as always, and thank you all for watching. Now, I'm a little bit behind on the news, and I apologize for that, but I've been on travel, filming, and hopefully here pretty soon you guys will see a pretty cool video whenever the powers that be at YouTube get around to reviewing it, which will remain to be seen. But in the interim, I wanted to talk about something that I think is exceptionally important for us as Second Amendment advocates as well as participants in the Second Amendment movement, and that is that the subject matter that we discuss on a regular basis is inherently dangerous. And because of that, there are safety protocols and culture that have been ingrained across the board through multiple facets, including just cultural, but also training courses and countermeasures, physical countermeasures for the fact that these things are dangerous tools. And what I'm going to talk about here today is a debacle that has been brought to everybody's attention. It's raging through the news right now, and that is the voluntary recall of Fortress safes of a particular lineage of models between several years that deal with their biometric locks. And these safes are being recalled because, they did not do the thing that they were supposed to do, which is keep unauthorized access out. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this and my thoughts on this, and not just about the safes, but the whole thing surrounding the other problems associated with safety and firearms after we take a quick capitalism break. Are you squared away on your medical gear? If not, this is the ad for you. We talk a whole bunch about poking holes in things and blowing stuff up on this channel, and y'all kind of enjoy that. You might want to perhaps have the ability to fix some of those holes, right? So what I have for you here today is a collaboration with Everlit Survival and AceTac. This is their advanced trauma kit. I have a full video that I'll have linked in the appropriate places for you guys to go check out, see if it's good value for you. And they're offering VSO subscribers a 10% discount if you use my code listed over at the affiliates page. Of course, if you pick up the headlines, you will see this raging through them in all the places that you would expect it to for maximum emotional impact to try to drum up policy to infringe on your God-given, constitutionally protected, inalienable rights. That said, the fact of the matter is that there are 61,000 safes, and I use safes in quotation marks because a lot of these things are not safes. And that's a point of contention for later in the video. But the fact of the matter is 61,000 units are being recalled, and you can see them up on screen right now. I'll have two documents that I would like to share with you. The first is the biometric recall notice for consumers, and this is put out by Fortress Safe. This is a voluntary recall in concert with the second document that we'll look at is the press release from CPSC, or United States Consumer Product Safety Commission. Whenever you got a product that's out there in the market and you intend to recall it, it's part of being a business that you notify the CPSC. The impetus for this recall is listed as twofold. First is a documented 39 incidents of unauthorized access, and the second is a lawsuit generated from the unfortunate loss of life of a 12-year-old boy. And I never want to come off as belittling the loss of any innocent life whatsoever, but particularly of children. But I need to take you to the document directly released by Fortress Safe for a second. The safes contain biometric readers that allow unpaired fingerprints to open the safe until a fingerprint is programmed, allowing unauthorized persons, including children, to access hazardous contents, including firearms. Timeout. I read that verbatim off the sheet. I'm going to leave it up on screen right now so that you can read it along with me, so you can reread it. What this says is that there is a device, a biometric device that is used in a variety of these devices that allows you to input your fingerprint for the purposes of unlocking it, as in limiting the scope of people that can access it. However, if you as the consumer fail to input that data, then the safe remains in the open condition, allowing anybody who pushes the button to access it, as in telling you that it's not properly secured and anybody can access it. Yes, you read that right. These things are being recalled because of consumer ineptitude, because some people screwed up. Fortress Safe is concerned about being sued over the fact that consumers are too stupid to program their safe with their biometric capabilities. So their response to this is that you should remove the batteries, do not use the biometric lock, and use the key. If you are uncomfortable with this, then you can request a replacement. I cannot be the only one who finds this to be completely absurd. And what I think this speaks to is a larger responsibility. And it's not just the safe that we're talking about. What this is a blame shifting. And we've been doing this for decades in this country, where we shift the blame away from the individuals who are actually responsible, which in this instance are the people who purchased the safe and did not properly program it. They are the people who are responsible, not Fortress Safe. Just because the people didn't take the time to put their fingerprint in or did not properly go through the procedure of inputting their biometric data to unlock the safe, that does not mean Fortress Safe is culpable for their negligence. And I think this speaks to a larger issue, which is, again, I don't mean to belittle the loss of life here, but why the hell is a 12-year-old not socialized around firearms? I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what your stance on firearms or any weapons in the United States are, right? I don't care left, right, center, indifferent, whether you like them, you don't like them, is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that weapons exist in America. It is part of Americans' culture, and it is not going anywhere anytime soon. So if you are a parent, it is your responsibility, just like you teach your kid not to put their hand on the stove, you teach them not to cut themselves with the kitchen knives. You also teach them that there are other dangerous things in their environment, and how you approach that training is up to you. It's up to your discretion. However, the idea that we have 12-year-olds, the smartest 12-year-olds that have ever existed, the integration with technology and the general knowledge of the human collective available at their fingertips at this point in time, the idea that one of them could access a firearm and not know how to properly handle it safely and end up in a compromised situation like this is disgusting to me. This is a parenting failure. A biometric safe, like the ones that we're talking about, is not something that you, the consumer, should buy into. This is not a good product. It has never been a good product, and it will never be a good product. Here are all the model numbers, and they are between the dates of January 2019 and October 2023, and they cost between $44 and $290, and that is your first indicator. These are bottom of the barrel, cheapy stuff. So let's go to the actual photos. These are not safes. These are gun boxes. I'm not saying that these devices don't have value. You got small children running around in your house. You don't want them to accidentally pick that up. I think that there's a strong argument for not socializing 5-year-olds with firearms, right? Even though, I mean, my parents kind of did it, but that's beside the point. If you choose to have a ready weapon in your house for self-defense, then having a nightstand lockup that is a quote-unquote disposable firearm if somebody walks in and decides to just take your whole nightstand out with them, the idea of having a device that keeps tiny children from inadvertently coming across this dangerous thing is not a bad concept. However, that concept has an expiration date, and that expiration date is whenever that individual is sentient enough to be able to defeat that box with a hammer. This is a parenting fail, much less than a Fortress Safe's fail. However, what I will say is that I find the marketing of this to be somewhat predatory on the effort of Fortress Safe. They're creating these crappy little boxes, putting some fancy biometrics on the front of them, trying to compel people to believe that this is a safe option for perpetuity. This is an enabling of lazy parenting. Once your child reaches a particular age and is capable of defeating this box, whether it's with your inability to put in your biometrics or with a sledgehammer, there needs to be a conversation had with the child about how to properly handle this weapon. Now, you might say, well, not all children are socialized around guns. Well, that is a problem. I'm sorry. Original statement about reality versus fantasy. And if you think that your child is not going to go over to other houses that have weapons in there just because you are an anti-gun zealot, you better think twice, because that is what we call fantasy. Reality of the situation is that these things exist, and if you want to keep your children safe, then at a minimum, they need to be able to identify a dangerous situation and get out of it. Timmy and his little buddies screwing around with something they shouldn't be messing around with, that kid needs to be well-versed enough to leave the situation and go get an adult. Remove themselves from the situation. And we're forgetting about the responsibility of the parents, much less about the responsibility of Fortress Safes to provide good products for consumers. This is definitely targeted at the lowest common denominator. And I will say that both parties in this instance, this is unacceptable behavior. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Am I over target on this one, or is this just the ravings of an old man? Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on another video here at the VSO Gun Channel.